You, it says I'm live. Let me check my audio here, see if people can hear me. You, it says I'm live. Let me check my audio. Looks like you can. Got a few people here already. Thanks for coming. So I hope everybody's doing well. If I look over to my right and left, it's only because I'm checking to make sure nothing's broke. And I'm looking at the different things. What's up, Adam? What's up, B-Dog? It's good to see you. The chat works. Chat works. Parker, my boy Parker, part of the Kingswell crew, he's going to be helping me field questions. And so it'll be just from Kingswell Project that'll be replying. And that'll either be Parker or I answering the questions. And I'll do my best to keep track of the questions as good as I can. What's up, John? What's up? So tonight, this is last week we did the sketch for one of the Jokers in the Peter Dash Flash or the P-51 Mustang deck. And surprisingly, I was so busy this week that I didn't get to work on it at all any more than that. So the good news is maybe next week, if I haven't finished it by then, which I hope I have, I can maybe finish it on the YouTube Live. I was going to do it tonight, but I thought that this would be a fun little different, this would be a different thing. Because until I start the, about to sneeze, I'm sorry. Until I start the heraldry deck again, I've been trying to want to do a bunch of different stuff on the YouTube lives until I start that back up. So I thought that what I'm going to do tonight would be a nice little change. So tonight, to give you a rundown, what we're going to do is I won't be doing any new designing or new concepting. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be taking the designs that I did for the original Tally Ho series, and in this specific case, I'll be taking the original designs from the Emerald Tally Ho decks and taking those designs and those design motifs and transplanting them and reconstructing a new tuck case that is the sister deck for the Emerald Tally Ho's, which is the Bicycle Emeralds, the Emerald Bicycle deck that is part of my, it's not the second deck, it's the third deck in my King's Wild Premium Bicycle subscription deck. So that's what we're going to do. And so let's get to it. Let me just turn my screen on over here. Boosh. All right, so what we got here is, this is basically a template file that I get from Clove Street because I do all of my tuck case printing with Clove Street Press, and so this is a die line that I get from them. This is an equivalent die line to the old what was called the T42 tuck case that USPC used to use. They have since what's the word? They've since got rid of it because they wanted to standardize the tuck case that they use just so it would be more efficient for their machines. So they would have to retool for different size tuck cases. As you can see, Parker, my bro, is over there answering questions, so feel free to ask Parker any kind of questions that you have in there. So this is the template file, and I'll kind of show you my process. This is the original Scarlet Tally Ho tuck case, and I'll turn this green layer is just the embossing layer, so I'll turn that off, and then you can kind of see that if I take all these off, you've got the base layer, which is representative of the tuck case, which in this case was like a soft touch red. And then after that, you've got the Pantone 7631 layer. And then on top of that, you've got the gold foil layer, which is just represented by yellow. Uh, so then from here, I took the design elements. And so something that should be known about the Tally-Ho series and also the bicycle series that I'm doing is some of the main design elements, like these corner pieces and these little arrows and darts and stuff like that. Each one of those things is different from each project. So like here is the Scarlet Tally-Ho, and then here's the Emerald Tally-Ho. And so in kind of the similar, it's got a similar structure where it's the green, there's the green base layer, and then you've got a Pantone of ink, and then on top of the ink you've got a kind of a pearlescent blue foil. Now what I want to show you is, I will zoom in right here, and I think this is good just for people to kind of see the behind the scenes stuff. So like if you take this quadrant right here, this corner piece, all these elements like this, all of that is, I'm gonna do a screen grab of this so you can see what I'm talking about, and I'll pull it up in just a second. If I go from there to here, so the motifs and structure is similar. The structure is similar, but if you notice, everything is different. So like these elements, this arrow right here is different than this one over here. This corner piece is different than this corner piece. The pattern is different. Like instead of a diamond, it's got a circle. These little darts around this perimeter of this circle are different than the ones over here. And then even like these darts, like this little element, I call it a dart. That's just what I call it, I guess. This element that's curved, I hope you can see my cursor. This element that's curved right here is curved here, but then on this one it's straight. So all the structure is the same. And I guess I could pull up, let me see. Let me pull up, I'll pull up like the black diamonds. Let me see here. Black diamond, tuck case, outside. So this is the, let me turn some of these off. So this is a clear foil, and this is the embossing. So there was only a clear foil on black, and so I can go back and show you, like with this one here, it's very similar, but like it's got more of an aggressive feel to it. Go to the back, card back right here. Now with this one's a little bit different because with the black diamond was just Metalux, so I only had one color. So, but you can see here, like even like this radial thing is different, but it has all the same structure in it. So that's kind of the basis of what we're going to be doing. So let me just turn this off, close that. So to go even further, if we look at the Scarlet Tally-Ho, this is the Scarlet Tally-Ho, and then this is kind of how I took these elements and transferred them over to the Scarlet Bicycle, which is this. So this is the Scarlet Bicycle, and this is the second deck in the premium bicycle subscription. Let me pull this up if I can. Let me see here. So the cool thing about this is I use the same elements and the same design motifs as I did for the Scarlet Tally-Ho and the bicycle. So you can see that ring is the same, So these are kind of like sister decks. And so what I'm going to be doing tonight, but as you can also see, the back design changes a little bit in the way it's colored. So let me see here. So that's kind of what we're gonna. That's gonna be what we're gonna be doing. Is I'm gonna go from this, the Emerald Tally-Ho. This is a Scarlet, but I'm gonna be going from the Emerald Tally-Ho, and I'm gonna be creating the Emerald bicycle. So let's get to it. It's 9:10. I should be able to get quite a bit done, I think. Okay, so some of the elements that stay the same through these projects are going to be these side and top parts. And so I can go ahead, I can go ahead and what I can do for that is just copy and paste those designs. And so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this background layer and get that green just so I can have it in this new file. And so I'm going to make this new background layer that same green color. Oops. That's what I want. There we go. So we got our base. Now from there, I'm gonna do the low-hanging fruit. Or is this not going to be a true tally? I'm trying to read a question. No, I'm not doing a tally-ho because since the time I did this tally-ho series, the United States Playing Card Company has locked down the tally-ho brand, and I can't do a tally-ho deck anymore. So I'll just take the low-hanging fruit, which are these side elements, and I cut them off just so I can kind of, no, this is not really a bicycle-inspired tally because the original tally was tally-ho inspired, and this is just like, which I created all new back designs and everything for when I did my tallies. So these are just my versions. The original tally-hos I did in honor of my daughters and my wife and my mother, because each one of the decks is for one of my daughters and my mother. So like the Emerald Tally-Ho is for my oldest daughter named Claire, which her birthstone is the emerald. And obviously the Scarlet Tally-Ho was for my middle daughter, Scarlet. And so I'm just going to take off the main elements here and get them situated, because this is the easy stuff that I'm just taking the same designs, but then all of the stuff that's on the front is a little bit harder because I kind of have to rebuild stuff. The number 13 I have learned just through trial and error. When it's oriented like this, it looks right here, but when it's oriented like this, it doesn't print correctly. So what I mean is when you open the tuck, number one, the numbers are sideways and they're also backwards. And so I've learned that when you're doing this thing, in order for it to read correctly, you have to turn it 90 degrees and put it backwards like this. So the number goes over here and the 13 goes over here. And that way, when the tuck, I don't know if it makes sense, but when the tuck case is flipped, I don't know if I've got an example. Let me see if I have an example. Yeah, I think I might have. Let's see. I'm trying to look for a, I guess I don't have an Americana. I don't have an Americana with me. Like, here's a good example of it being incorrect. So like if I open this Emerald Tally-Ho deck, this is the way it faces me, and it's incorrect. It's backwards. The 13 is first, and then numbers, so it's backwards. And so if I do it this way, like I have here, when you open the deck, it says number 13, and it's facing you correctly. So that's just kind of that. But that's just something I've learned over, designing playing cards for 7 years. So just get these, oops, you lock that. You see. Just get this all lined up where I want it. And then I will take this number 13 here. Like that. Now the legal language is a little bit different. The legal language is different, so I won't be using this legal language, so I don't have to copy that. So I'll just delete that. And I delete it as I work, just so I know what I've done and I haven't done. The bottom art is going to be the same as the Scarlet Bicycle, so I'll open that one up again. Premium Bicycle, Scarlet Bicycle, Scarlet Tuck. Okay, so this information here is correct. I'm gonna turn this stuff off so I can grab it. I don't want that. I'm gonna grab all of this, cut it, and I'm going to paste it. Now I know that some things I need to change are this yellow. So I'm going to select everything that's this yellow, and I'm going to change it to this blue silver foil. And I know that I need to change it from, if you see this, it says Series 2020. No, these aren't Scarlets. These are the Emerald Tally-Hos. I mean, these are the Emerald Bicycles. The Scarlets will have red, like this. This is the Scarlet Bicycles. These are the second deck. So these are the Series Volume 2, Series, or number 2 of 6. The ones that are not, the first bicycles are the Bicycle Americanas, and then these. And then these are the third ones. So I'm going to take this 2, and I'm going to make it a 3. I'm trying to remember what font I use. So I know I need to make that. I'm going to make this 2 a bright color. So it just reminds me that I need to change it, but I don't want to go hunting for the font that I used just yet. So I'm just going to make it bright red so it stands out, so I know that I need to change it. And I need to change it to 3 of 6. Yeah, the green, you may have seen this green right here. This green right here is nothing but the embossing layer. So I don't know if you can see it right there, but it says embossing right there. So that's just the embossing layer, and I just make it a different color, just so that I can really see it, so it stands out differently. All right, let's see here. All right, so I've got the bottom finished. Well, not finished, but just where I need it to be. I'm going to flip this around. Also, this is something else I learned from just doing it a lot. If you look at this tuck case, tuck case, when you're looking at it here, it looks good. Everything is, all the wording is right side up and everything like that. But that doesn't mean it's necessarily, once the box gets made, that it's going to be correct. Because when you design a box, if this is the front of the tuck case here, you want to design the box so that, oops, I was testing out one of my VHS seals on the side of this thing. When you're designing a tuck case, you want the information on the front to read like this, obviously. But then, if you have it laying on a table like this, you want to be able to read the bottom and the sides if it's laying on a table. And if you notice with this deck of cards, if it's laying flat on a table, the bottom information is flipped upside down, and that's not what you want. That's not really package design best practices. And so it's not. Now, the sides are correct. You can read the information on the sides. They're oriented correct. But if it's like this, you can't read the bottom because it's upside down. And you can see that in this design in front of you. how this stuff down here is, it's right side on the flat artwork, but once it gets printed and made, it's upside down. And so what you really want to do if you're designing playing cards is you want to make sure you flip the bottom stuff to be upside down, so that when you do, so like if I have, let me see, so like with this deck, with this Valley Forge deck, obviously made this later in life. If I lay the tuck case flat, now the bottom information is legible that way. Also the side information as well. And so the Valley Forge deck was made in that similar way, where you make the bottom upside down. And that's just something that I learned just through, oh my gosh. And it was just like, I would look at a bunch of my tuck cases, and I would have them all on a shelf, and I was like, why? I want to be able to read it if it's laying flat on a table, because a lot of people will have them on their desk, you know, as showpieces or whatever. Nah, that's being pretentious, but you may have it on your desk, and you want to be able to read the information. And so that's why it's upside down on this new one, this table players. Not table players, this bicycle deck I'm making. I'm so confused sometimes. And you'll notice that this is also, the top piece here is upside down as well. That way, when it's laying flat, the top verbiage is legible as well. All right, let me see. So from here is where it kind of gets different. Basically, I know that I can probably take, I'll have to open my file for the back design because I've changed the color scheme. And so let's open that file up, the playing card file, because I have a tuck case file and a playing card file. So if I open up the card master for, this is the Emerald Bicycle playing card master. So this is the back design, and this is the double back. And you can notice that the double back, they alternate colors. However, so this is the back design for the Emerald Bicycle. If I were to open up the Emerald Tally Hose, it's the same back design, but different color schemes. Let me just find it. Emerald Tally Ho, Card Master. So here is the back design for the Emerald Tally Hose. And then there's the back design for the bicycle, Emerald Bicycles. So you can see that it's some things are negative, some things are reversed. Some of the wheels in the middle are reversed, but then some things are the same. So that just kind of gives you an example of how I'm changing things. So I'll take this file here, I will copy it, and then I will come back to my, first of all I want to save this because I haven't saved it yet. I want to save it, so if my computer crashes, I haven't lost my work. So I want to save this in Premium Bicycle, Emerald Bicycle, and it's going to be called Emerald Bicycle Limited Edition LTD Tuck Case V1. Let's make it a longer name. How about it? Okay. Alright, so from there, I've got the back design copied, and so I'm going to make a new layer just so I have it on the different layer. So I'm going to pull this back design in here. I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to line it up with this, and then bring it over. And then I'm going to scale it up to where it's the same height as this element. And then I'm going to center it up. So now we got it centered up. Now I'm going to take this Pantone color right here. This is obviously going to be it's going to be foil instead of a Pantone. Yeah, I never did change the big. I never changed this to a 3 because I didn't want to have to go searching for the font right now. And that's why I made it red, so it would be blatant. And of course, I'll probably forget it, and it'll probably be printed. Just kidding. I've done worse. So I'm just going to select this color, everything that's this color, fill color, and then I'm going to match this foil color here. Now, the first thing I do, let me tell you this. This is just, I'm going to make, well, this is just a pet peeve of mine. And I'm not going to name specific names because I can't think of any specific ones off the top of my head. There are two things in playing card design that annoy me more than anything. And I think it is a easy way, and this is just me, this is my opinion, take it what it's worth. It's not gospel, but the two main things that show a, I would say, amateur or new playing card designer are these two things. It is this semicircle right here that cuts out for the thumb hole. This thing right here. Well, I've ripped it now, but it's this thumb hole right here, and you can see it right here in the die line. If a designer just leaves the artwork just like this, and the die cut just cuts their art, and they just leave it like that, I think that's super lazy. And I think it's one of the two things that's like the main easy to spot amateur card designer, because they just leave it and they just cut it. You should use the die line shape and redesign your design to fit within that die line and to make it look good. And I think that's a bad way to phrase it. You should use your box and you should use the die line and you should make your design work with that shape, not just copy and paste it, slap it on there, and call it done. The second thing is, and I think that I think this is one of the most egregious. Let me open up this again. Emerald Card Master. The second, if not the number one thing that I think that annoys me is this thing right here. And it's such a little thing, but it annoys me. If you have a design, you've got a rounded corner on the edge of your card, and this is the back design. If you've got a rounded corner, and what people will do, some card designers they'll put a square corner design right up next to this rounded corner, and so it'll look kind of like this. Let me turn this off. What they'll do is they'll make a design. I'm just doing this as, oops, I got the wrong one. I'm just going to do this as an example. They'll take their design. Oops, I'm still doing the wrong thing. Sorry it's taking me so long on my soapbox here. But I want to show you, because if you are a aspiring playing card designer, please heed my words. Oops. What they'll do is they'll make a back design that looks like this. So their art will be a square corner up against a round edge. And I don't know what it is. Oh, it annoys me. Now, I've done that before on some of my cards, but if I did it, there was a specific reason why I did it. So, and it's easy enough. It's easy enough to, instead of making this hard cornered edge up against this curved edge, which makes like a tangent visually, it's easy enough to take this, to take your die line file and then use that same shape like this to create a radiused edge design like that. And now I have got a back design that's got a radiused edge that is concentric with this corner, and just visually it's way better. Okay, enough with the soapbox. Shut up, Jackson. Let's get back to work. So going back to this thumb hole bite. Let's see. Let me see here. I've got some questions. Parker asked, how do you communicate what is foil and what is not to the printer presser? Well, the way that I communicate that is, for instance, this is one of my foil books, and this has all the different colored foils that I have. And so basically, I look through this foil book and decide which foil I want. Okay, I want this super duper pink purple foil, okay? And I say, okay, and it's got a number. And so in the file, I'll just approximate the color of it just to represent the foil color. But then usually in the layer, like if this layer was my foil layer, which it's not right now, I would name the layer the foil number, a foil number. Now with the Pantone colors, it's different. With the Pantone colors, it's very specific. So like here are my swatches, and this purple is a specific Pantone, and it is Pantone 669. And so now the color's not going to be right in this really bad lighting, but I'll show you what this is. So this is my Pantone color book. And so anytime I'm choosing a color, I choose it from here first, because this is going to approximate, what is it? What was I say it was? 699? 699. This will approximate it the closest, because this is the actual Pantone color it's being printed. Alright, 699, you kind of have to hunt through them because they're not really in numerical order, which boggles my mind. 499, 4000. Anyways, well, let me see here. We're getting close. 6, 2, okay, anyways. The way it works is I would find Pantone 699, which is this purple color. Because this purple color is not ink, it's foil. And so I would find the Pantone 699 there. And I would find the color first that I want to use. And then once I find the color that I want to use, I come into the program, and then I would open up, and Adobe has these color books on file. So I'll go open swatch library, color books, and this one specifically is the Pantone solid color. And it says that right here. It's where it says formula, the formula guide solid coated Pantone. So I would open up that, and then this color swatch here that you're seeing here is this book of colors. And so I know that if I type in Pantone, so I say I want to make it this, orange color. Pantone 165 right here. Pantone 165. You can't really see it because you see my ugly face, but this is Pantone 165. I would come into this window and I would type in 165, and then I would double check. There's Pantone 165, and then I could click it, and then now that that artwork is now designated as Pantone 165. And so that tells the printer, okay, he wants that artwork to be Pantone 165. And so that I know that once the final product comes out, that orange should match this orange that's on the paper. And then over here in this swatch library, when I'm finished, I will delete all these colors except the Pantone colors that I'm using, so that when the printer sees that, so that when Clove Street sees that, they know that that Daniel at Clove Street, he knows that I want that specific Pantone color. But if the Pantone color is going to stay the same, it's this Pantone 669, because it's the same thing. So let's get back to designing. So I'm going to, like I said before, I'm not going to just copy and paste this and leave it like this and let the die line cut a hole out of my artwork. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this die line, this element here, this part, I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to paste it on top, and I'm going to use that arc of the die line. I'm going to make it bigger, and I'm going to use that to cut out my artwork. And the way I do this, I taught myself how to use Illustrator, and so I could be using it all wrong, but I'm probably pretty sure I'm using it pretty correct. So what I do to cut this out is I'll just take that, I make it bright yellow so I can see it. I'll select all of this artwork, and I'll perform what's just called a pathfinder, and it slices everything like that. And then I can go in here, delete that yellow. But I want to copy it first. I'm going to cut it, and then I'll come back like this, and I'll delete these elements. And so now you can see that I'm already on the right track. I've cut my art to match this. I've cut my art to match this thing. So now, obviously, this club has been chopped off, and so I'm going to go in here, delete this club. What I might do is take, I might take like a circle from here and go like this, paste that yellow in again, cut it off, oops, cut that, and then make this little ellipsoid here foil. And then now I've got my art cut, but I don't want to end it there. I want to bring this foil, I want to bring some kind of like border around. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste that yellow element that I've got, because that's that shape that I want. And then I'm going to make that into a stroke. And then I'm going to get it about the same size. I'm going to go 1.5. Seems pretty good. I'm going to make that into a shape. And then I'm just going to draw a square right here. And I'm going to cut it, clunk, delete that part. And now I can make this piece that same Pantone color. And now I've got a nice design that's not just copied and pasted and then gets cut off by the die line. I might even go in there and do this where I trim it to line it up with that, like this. So now I like it the other way better. It kind of caps off that foil layer. So now I've got a nice piece of design that is concentric with the die line and looks way better. It's way better than just putting it flat and letting the die line cut it off. So there's the back part. So now this is where it gets hard, and I kind of saved the hardest to last, and I've got about 20 minutes. We'll see how far we can get. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the Scarlet Tally-Ho file, and I'm going to use the bicycle logo, because that's going to stay in the same spot. Got to grab this trademark. I'm going to cut it. I'm going to bring it over here. Oop, wrong one. Yep, here, this one right here. Make a new layer, paste, come in here, select everything that's yellow, make it the foil color. I could make it connect. You mean like make this connect where this blue foil comes down? The only thing is it's a little bit further than I want it to be. I want this distance from here to here to be about the same. And I like this'll, I think this will just end up being, I like this a little bit better. I kind of did the same thing on this is the Emerald Tally-Ho back design right here. And you can kind of see I did the same thing where the foil stops. It's a little bit closer. See, I was more amateur this time because you can see that this distance from here to here is greater than this distance here to here. I think that's an amateur move because if it gets out of register, this is so close that if this case on the printing press gets out of register, it'll be a lot easier to see. But this, because this distance from here to here is the same and here to here, if it gets out a bit of register, it won't be as easy to see. Alright, so I'm going to make that. So now we got that. I'm going to save so I don't lose my work. Now, I'm going to close this because it's getting, I need it. Alright, so the parts that I do need are going to be these corner pieces, these pieces here, but only on the bottom. These kind of corner pieces. But all this other stuff is going to change. So I'm going to go back to this scarlet one, and I want to see, I'm going to take all of this stuff, and just bring it over here. I'm going to have to delete a lot of stuff, but I'm going to lock that bicycle layer because I know that's going to stay. Now I know that I have to delete this inner circle. I know I have to delete this inner circle because that's all going to change. So I'm just going to go in here and pull that out. But I know that I want that circle size to remain the same. So I'm going to keep that circle. Now I should have grouped all this stuff, but I was lazy. Alright, so I'm going to go back to the scarlet bicycle. So I want this circle to stay the same. But if you notice, with the scarlet tally-ho and the scarlet bicycle, this side element, this is called a dentil. When you see something that's like these marching bricks, it's either called a marching brick pattern or a dentil pattern. So like you see it on molding a lot, those little lines, that's called a dentil molding. And so I call this is a dentil molding, and then these are called darts. These big things here are like darts. If you notice on the scarlet bicycle, those darts and the dentil work is straight. But in the emerald design, the dentil work is arced and the dart is also arced. So I know that I'm going to have to go back and recreate all this dart, which basically I'm going to have to recreate all of this. The only thing that I'm going to keep is the arc and spacing of this Kingswell project up here and the size of this circle. And then I'm going to keep this playing card. I'll keep Scarlet Edition there just because I want the spacing. But everything else I'm going to delete, and I'm also going to keep the number 13 because I want that all to stay in the same spot. So I'm just going to start coming through and chunking everything that I know I'm going to end up changing. And this is probably boring, so I'm sorry. Alright, so I'm going to try to do this a little bit quicker. So I'm going to go ahead and establish this size of this circle so I can just keep it. Okay, I'm going to put that on a different layer. I know that I'm going to keep this playing card. I need these elements. I need these elements. And what I'm doing now is I'm just cutting them and moving them to a different layer, just so it kind of organizes my stuff. I'm going to name this one, this layer here. And I know that I'm going to keep this circle, and I'm going to keep the number 13. And then I'm going to keep this border, and I'm going to keep these words so I can have the sizing and everything. And then basically, I know I want to keep this. I'm just going to have to cut this out, which is annoying. I should have made this a little bit more, with a little more forethought. So I'm just going to have to do some surgery here and cut this shape out, because I need this part right here. Do some quick surgery. Take this, gonk. I know that's going to be that gold. And so now I can take all of this, that piece, these letters, cut, put it on my layer that I'm keeping. And then basically everything else is going to get trashed. Trashed. Alright. See. Alright. I'm sorry I'm neglecting the questions. Apologize. But I got a little bit more time. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this. I'm going to take everything that's this gold and change it to the blue foil, or whatever it's called. I think it's silver. Then I'm going to take this maroon color, or dark red, and change it to the dark purple. Now, this layer is all the stuff that I'm keeping basically for size and scale, and I know that I want certain elements to stay the same through the designs. So I'm going to take this, everything that's yellow, that's gold foil, I'm going to turn it to the silver. Then I'm going to take everything that is the maroon, and I'm going to change it that dark purple. Okay, now we're off. I'll go ahead, low-hanging fruit. I like doing low-hanging fruit. I'm going to change this to Emerald Edition. And I do know what font this is. This is Soul of Vodka. So I will take this and size it up in terms of the sizing. There we go. A little bit more. Get my sizing right. Delete. Take this, delete the scarlet. Well, I thought I was deleting the scarlet. Delete. Bring this. I'm going to center it up. Center. Bring it to the middle. I'm going to adjust the leading and the kerning. Well, not the leading, the kerning. So now I got that, and I'm going to refer back to my Emerald Tally-Ho to see what I did there. My scarlet. So it's just foil, and so I'm going to come back to this. I'm going to outline Emerald Edition, make sure I spelled it right. Outline the letters, and we're good. Alright, whatever that is, delete that. So from here, so now what I'm going to do from here is I'm going to take, this is kind of the part that's kind of, it's kind of annoying and tedious. So I may just do like one corner, and it'll probably be 10 o'clock and we'll be finished. So what I have to do is I have to take this corner element here and kind of pull it apart, because it's all kind of together. And a smart person would have done this all in pieces, but I did this years ago, and I wasn't I wasn't near experienced as I am now. And so I learned from my mistakes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy all of that. I'm going to paste it over here just so I can do the surgery. I'm going to ungroup it all. Now I know what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a shape that just cut. I know that I don't need a lot of this stuff, so I'm just going to cut a lot of it out right off the bat. I want this dart and that centerpiece, so I'm going to go like this. I'm going to make it a bright color so I can see it, and then I'm going like this. Sorry if this doesn't make sense. This is just my weird workflow. I'm going to select all of this and slice it. Come in here, and then now I've got all the junk that I don't need all taken out. So I'm going to take all of this back. I'm going to select these invisible layers that you can't see. I'm going to take this all onto its own layer. Get out of isolation mode. Now I've got all this on one layer. I'm going to lock everything else just so I don't mess with it while I'm, because this is the kind of the part that's kind of like annoying and tedious. And so I'm going to bring this in here, and I'm going to match up these corner pieces right there so I can get the art in generally the same spot. Now I know what I've done now is here's all the stuff that I've got so far. Now I've got that border piece already, and as you can see I'm pulling in other border pieces. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here, I'm going to make these invisible, and I'm going to go in here and delete all of this corner. Well, alright, so I'm going to make sure, I want to save this curved piece, and if I delete it here, it'll take that away. So I'm just going to take that. A lot of this is just like surgery right now with the pieces, so sorry if it's boring. I'm not going to use that, looks like. I can delete all this mess. Then now I've got the border in place like that. Now I can use this other part and I can just turn it on and off, and I can already see what I'm going to have to kind of take out and keep. Now, one thing that I do need is I need this line right here, these kind of diagonal lines, because that's a motif. These kind of striped lines and these angled lines are going to be something that stays the same on all of the bicycle decks. So I'm going to come in here and I want to copy this again, all of this, copy, bring it over here, paste. And I just paste over on the side just because when I need to get it out of the way and get it kind of isolated. So I'm going to just delete all of this. Oops, shouldn't have done that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take from here, I need all of this to right there. And I apologize if this makes no sense what I'm doing, but this is just the way, that I have done it. And yeah, so I'm going to take that and then I'm going to make a new square here. Oops. No, I do not want to make a square. So now obviously I got to clean this stuff up here, and I can go ahead and do that now just to make it all nice. And I'll have to clean up that circle as well. I'll have to redraw that circle, but that's okay. So I'm just cleaning up these edges, make them nice and straight. Alright, so now I got nice clean edges. Obviously this stuff is all going to get trashed. Oops. Go away. Select same color, fill color, delete. Alright, oops, what is this over here? Alright, so I got this cleaned up. I'm going to take this, I'm going to put it on its own layer, get out of isolation mode, new layer. I've kind of redundant myself, and see I left the playing card there so I can get it lined up to where it needs to be. So I'll take that P, line the P up, and then now I'm good to go. So I want to take this corner piece out for right now, and I want to make the color scheme correct, ungroup, select everything that is the gold foil, make it silver, whatever it is, maroon, fill color, make it our dark purple, and we're good. Make this invisible. Now I can go back and now delete all of this, all of these things, because I don't need those anymore, because I have got them in the right spot. See if there's any questions that I have missing. Alright, so I got that in the right spot, and I've got this stuff in the right spot, and so I'm going to go ahead and merge those. It's what I shouldn't do, but I won't do it. Because every time you merge something, you just make it harder to edit later. Now, I'm going to go in here and basically see how I've cut this circle, and so I want to redraw that circle. So I'm just going to take this concentric circle here, copy it. I'm going to get that in the center, change it to this color, change it to stroke, and then get it where I want it, make that a outline, cut it. I want to clean this up here. I want to take this out. Paste my circle again, and you can tell I got a little bit peeking through here, so I want to fix that. So I want to I'm going to fix that edge there by just cutting it. Alright, so I've redrawn that circle. Now I still have my corner piece here, and you can tell that I'm going to have to basically, I have to redraw all of this stuff. Let's look at our Scarlet Bicycle deck. And so you can see I've got a corner bar, this corner border here that goes all the way to this midline, all the way down. But if you look at our Emerald Tally Ho, that is a little bit different because it has this arced. So what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to mimic this, and instead of, the only thing that I want to keep, I think, is this corner piece, and I will redraw everything else. So I'm just going to take all of this and basically move it over here just so I've got it for visual reference. And then I'm going to delete everything else. All these little teeth. I'm going to delete all of that. Now, for this corner piece, if you can tell, I kind of got a happy accident where you see how this line right here and then this line right here basically almost meet this corner piece. And so I'm going to use that to my benefit. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw here, draw me a corner like that, draw a line there, and then draw a line from here to here. Select these two lines, cut those out. Now I've got this corner piece. Well, I didn't draw it on there because I was going too fast. I want it to be right on this line, so I've got it matched up there. I want to bring it all the way down and do the same thing here. Match on that line, bring it over here. Now I'm going to trim these lines, join it, and then now I can make this a shape like that. Oops. Didn't like that, did it? I lose it? I guess I lost it. I'll just do it the easy way then. So I've got this shape that represents that corner. And I'm going to use that shape to come in here and cut this apart. So I'm going to get rid of that, come in here and cut this out because of that. Boom. Now I've got it like that. Now what I want to do is I want to fix up this arc to where these join up to meet that right there. So I'm going to start here at this apex of this arc. I'm going to come to here, oops, to that path, and then I'm going to gradually ding it out like that. Now make that, select this, and then trim that, boom. Now I've got a nice arc that meets that element there. I'm going to do the same thing here. Go to the apex of this arc and bring it this way a little bit, just like that. Then trim it. Then now I've got a piece that lines up perfectly with that, and I can go in here, merge these, and I can make these that silver foil so that when I come out, that corner piece is now kind of like grafted into that design, and then I can go in here and change the what's what color. I'll make this color, the foil, and then I can make this part the maroon color, and there you go. Now I've got a design that's inside that, and it works with that design, and then that arc is nice for that corner. Now I don't know, why are you yelling my name? Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, is it 10:04? Sorry. I'm gonna keep going for a little bit. I mean, unless you want me to stop. I'm feeling good. Sometimes I'm not in the mood, sometimes I am. I feel pretty good right now. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to come in here and grab all of this corner piece. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to paste it. And then I'm going to reflect it off this line that I've got here. And it's and then we're going to see what kind of damage I got over here. So it's not that bad. What's crooked? I don't know what's crooked. What are y'all saying is crooked? Everyone thinks the layer that says playing cards. What? I don't see it. This is crooked? This is crooked? Well, I mean, it's got this junk in it. I mean, is that what you're talking about? This junk that I can delete out? This is not crooked. This is all straight. I need to fix this. I can do that pretty easily. I don't know if that's what you were talking about. It's too close. It's a little tangent right there. There. What is it? No, the white box around playing card. This white box? It's crooked? I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, it's all the same angle. The right side is lower. Oh, you guys. Oh my goodness. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Because if I go like this, make an angle, now you're just messing with me probably. The bigger white box, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm sorry. All right, let me see here. All right, so from there, what I want to do is I'm going to probably end up trashing this straight-lined element, which may make me have to redo this corner piece, but what I want to do is I want to have this curved arc here. Oh, good. Those are separate, so that's me getting lucky. So I'm going to take that. I'm going to scale it up just a bit. Not too much. So what I'm probably going to end up doing is I'm probably going to end up trashing, which is going to make all that work that I just did null and void on that corner piece, but that's okay. Let me just check the original, how we kind of did it. So I have this, okay, so I like that element. I want to make sure I get that piece, this side piece here, because I like that. What I'm probably, let's paste, put that right here. It's looking like I'm missing a border piece too. So I'm going to scale this up. It's probably, I'm going to line this up here, bring it this way. Now I want to fix this arc here to make it concentric with that arc. So I'm going to go grab this piece, paste it, use the stroke like that, go 3.5, and then I'm going to take this, ungroup it, take this, paste it on top, cut it. So now this curve here is concentric with that arc as well. Now I don't like, this is a little bit of a problem because I've got this piece that I want to keep that's curved. I want to keep this piece that's curved in there, but it's obviously it's obviously messing with this line. So what I could do is I could just cut this piece, trim it out. Let's see what that looks like. This will probably be not what I'm going to do. Just smooth this corner out. So I could try this, see what happens. Just get rid of this inner piece here. Ungroup, cut it. I could do that, and let me see here. Let's just see it for giggles. Let's make this a solid stroke. Make it that color, and then take from here and bring this down and then cut this like that. Get rid of this trash. That's okay. That's not, it's not, I'm gonna leave it for now. I don't think that's what I'm going to end up doing because I don't like how it's getting really close to this P, and I don't like that this is a straight edge next to the thing. So what's probably going to end up happening, oh, I don't want to do this, but that's okay. Let's do it. This is going to hurt, but that's okay. I'm going to come into this layer here. I'm going to duplicate it so if I want to come back, I can have it. But I'm going to come in here and I'm going to delete all of this. And we're going to try not to be lazy with our design. And we're going to try to go the extra mile for you fine people and make a design that's worth keeping. And you know, I tell you what, because this is curved, the more and more I look at it, I want to make the plane, instead of making the playing card straight, I want to, I'm even thinking about making it curved slightly. And let's see what happens. I just created a lot more work for myself, but that's okay. So I'm going to take all this playing card. Let me make sure I got it all. Playing card. Need that. Need this. That. 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 Alright, let me see if I got it all. Nope. That. 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 And that. One more piece. That one. Put that on its own layer. Alright, so read the above comment. It's not crooked. There's nothing crooked. If it's crooked, I can't see it. But I promise you, I make most of this stuff with a computer, and so it's all straight angles. And from there, I'm going to, I guess I just don't know what you're talking about. So I'm going to distort this with a warp. What I need to do is make it straight. So I kind of have to rebuild it because I want to make it. I can't warp this because it's already angled because I've sheared it. So I basically have to remake it. So I know what the font is, so we'll go plain cards. So we're going to scale it up to about the same width. Maybe not. We're going to make it that blue color. do here, I'm going to kern it a little bit. Just fix the kerning on an individual basis. Okay. I'm going to bring this over here. I'm going to outline it. Just making the shadow here. Well, it's not really a shadow. Now, a Illustrator snob would be watching me do this, making the shadow, and say like, you could totally do that automatically in Illustrator. But you're right, you can, but I don't like the way it does it, and so I do it this way. Because I think this is much cleaner. My Pathfinder go here. Probably super boring, but it pays off in the end and looks good. So I'm just going to each of the apexes to create the shadow, three-dimensional effect here. See, I could use there's a function called step and repeat in Illustrator that you can like duplicate, and it duplicates a bunch. And I could do that with this and get the same effect, but it would create tons of extra vector points that I don't need. And that just makes my file needlessly large. I still don't know what you guys are talking about. I don't know what you're talking about that's off. I seriously don't. Almost finished. I think this is gonna be I think this solution is gonna be way better in the end in terms of the design. Parker is calling me. Oh, Parker's calling me. I guess he's gonna try to explain to me what you guys think are. Oops, I hung up on him. I guess he's gonna try to. Let me see if he wants to know. He's calling me. Let's see here. It's funny. There we go. Well, I guess he's not going to talk to me. He's mad at me. And you're probably going to say this is a lot of work for something that you probably won't even notice. But whatever. I like it. Almost finished. Jeez, this letter has taken me like 10 minutes. Oh, nice. Call me back. Yo, Duke, what's up? Sure, try to explain to me what's crooked. This is like the definition of live Q&A. Okay. Yeah, it's like 10 seconds delay. Playing cards? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So he's saying I took around the rectangle box. I'm not bringing back the rectangle box that was there. Yeah, I'm just deleted it. That's why I was like, I don't know what the big deal is. I'm deleting all this stuff anyways. Okay. Well, I can go look at it. Let's see. Uh huh. So they think that this line here, I know it's delayed, so I'm hoping to catch up. They think that this line here, that's above where it says Scarlet Edition, is crooked. This line here, well, let's find out. I can make a line from this point. I hold down Shift, which makes it stay straight. And you can see that that line is perfectly straight. It doesn't go down at all because I held down Shift and it keeps it straight. I hope that satisfies them too. I'll even make it smaller, 0.25. So, and I'll even see that, and I held Shift, so it's not. It keeps it straight. So, I hope that satisfies it. Now let's get back to designing. Let's do it. See ya. Well, now you have to realize that it may look crooked zoomed out, but the points that are in the file are straight, which will translate into straight printing. So now I've got the shadow correctly made there. I missed one right here. Can come back. Make that one. Where's my Pathfinder? Make sure I didn't skip. There's no one I skipped. Losing a bunch of them. Skipping a bunch. All right, we're good. I think. No, last one. This has got to be the last one that I didn't do here. Okay. Merge. All right. One more look. Didn't skip that. That's all good. Oh my goodness. What kind of Bush League work is this? Oops. It's like I'm in third grade art class here, not paying attention to what's going on. There'll be some parts that I have to clean up, like that one. All right, we'll group this. All right, get this grouped. Now, let's delete all this stuff that was causing us ruckus. Design ruckus. I'm going to pull this playing cards over here. I'm going to get it centered up. Now, what I may do, I know this from last time. I'm going to try something. I want to make a little bit. I'm just going to see what happens. Stroke, soften up the edges. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a little stroke on the outside, so there's a shadow. So there'll be a shadow and a stroke. And what that's going to do, one, it's going to make it harder for Daniel at Clove Street to register this stuff. But it's going to make that foil pop a little bit more because it's going to have that holding line on the outside. Just going to change these up. Oops. Get rid of some of this mess. Obviously this is, fix this, fix this, okay, and this one. So now I've got a kind of a stroke and I've got the shadow, which is going to make it pop a little bit better. What time is it? Holy moly, it's 10:30. All right, I'm going to keep going here. I'm going to get this, make sure I got everything. I'm going to merge this stuff together. Now we're going to try our warp. That's not what we want. We're going to go for a rising flag, like that. It's not too bad right there, that amount. Let me see. What I should do is copy it, come back over here to this scarlet, and paste it just to get the... Do you need something? What's up, baby? I'm not finished just yet. So I'm going to do the envelope distort. They're still listening to me. I'm talking to them, listening to them right now. So I'm going to make the envelope distort, warp, rising flag. And what I'm doing is I'm just going to try to, I probably should start with it up here. I kind of want to match that inclination. So envelope distort, make with warp, rise. So what I'm trying to do is kind of get close to where it goes up here and it matches down here. So I'm going to go a little bit more. Yep, looks good. Now, so I'm just gonna remember that number. So that's 56%. So I'm gonna come back over here, and now what I want to do is I'm gonna pre-make so I'm gonna pre-make the box that held the playing cards, and I'm going to make that now before, and then I'm going to apply the rise to the whole element together. And if that makes sense. So what I want to look at is, so with this we've got a thick yellow line, a smaller one, and then a thick one. And so we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to create the thick line here, and we'll go 2 points of thickness like that. And then we'll create, that's going to be blue, or the blue foil. And then I'm going to create the 1 point smaller line here. And then I'm going to do the second line. I'm going to reflect it off of that line. So now we've got a thick and thin. That's going to be like that. So now we've got the thick, small, and then thick again, much like this. I'm going to just bring this in here just to compare. That's about the same thickness. That's good with me. I'm going to make these shapes, and now I'm going to duplicate them down here. I am down with the thickness. I'm down with the thickness. I'm down with it. Anyways, so, and this is kind of what I was talking about. Since I've created all of this together, I can then come back, select all of these elements, group them, do an envelope distort, rise at the 56%. Well, that's it's made it too much. So I'm gonna cut that, come back over here, paste. I'm gonna line this S up, object, envelope distort, rise, and I'm gonna bring it back up to 33%. So that looks pretty good to me. I'll hit OK. I'm going to expand the fill. I'm going to stretch it a little bit, cut it, paste. So now we've got something that harkens back to this rise, but it's not straight, because all this stuff is straight lines. And now we've got something that's going to work better for the design that goes along with these arced lines, and so on and so forth. So what I'm going to do now is itch my shoulder, because it itches. Just taking a look at here, just anything I see. I'll go ahead and trim this up. looking good. I'm liking it. I may have to change. Yeah, I like this. I really like this, where this is going to go. Just some of the things that I'm going to do. Just kind of visually looking at it right now. I'm just going to see what happens when I don't want to scale that up too much. Let me just scale it up and see what happens. I know I'm not going to want to do that. That's way too big. What we're probably going to have to do is I'm probably going to have to remake this stuff in terms of the size. So let's do it. Alright, so I know I have two. I'm going to go from here to here, and it's going to curve out like this. See, here's what I'm thinking. As I'm looking at it, I'm basically realizing that if I want to continue the whole motif of this, everything's nice and arced. See, like this curve right here, I want to do that because I want to mimic this curve here. But this curve going into these hard angles just looks bad. And so what that's telling me is I'm going to have to do a lot of basically redesigning of a lot of these elements. Like I'm probably going to have to redesign this arc, how I'm doing the arc. I'm going to have to redo a lot of stuff. That's okay. But that's definitely something that I can't get started right now when I'm already 37 minutes past what I thought. But before I go, I'll give you an idea of what I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm going to save this. I'm going to get a screen grab of this. I'm going to copy it. Open up some Poto Hops. And I'll just kind of sketch. I'll sketch maybe what I'm thinking, just to get an idea. And I think that is going to be it. All my stuff is coming up now after my stuff crashed. Alright, let's see here. I want to... Alright, paste. Just open the file the way I want it to be. New, clipboard, paste. Alright, so I'm in Photoshop now. I'm not in Illustrator anymore. Good night, Brad. Good to see you. Alright, so what I'm going to do is, okay, so what I'm thinking is, I'm going to make a new layer. So the parts that I'm going to have to probably redo are this stuff, these lines here, like this. Okay. And then what I'm probably going to end up doing is something like this, where and I'm just making this up, people. So remember the bicycle logo's up here. And then I'm going to try to follow the concentric arc of the circle. And so the line that I'm creating here is just for reference. Let me snap this. Nope. Snip, screen grab, this piece right here. Copy. Nope. So basically I'm recreating this element, but that works with the design. So I'm going to create that second one that's also concentric. It has the little end point. And then we will do the dart that will do the same. Now I need to make sure that it doesn't go all the way. So we got the dart. I got some on my pen. Just gonna lightly draw it first. Like that. And then from there I will have these elements. And I'm just going to rough this in. Oops. And then let's make me a mask. Bring my layers over here so I can see them. Make me a mask, fill it, bring that down here, and then open this up, paint the mask. That's not what I want. So I'm going to fill this mask in black. Then I'm going to paint it back in, put it on the bottom. Just to give me an idea of what's going to happen. Now, I'm not a big fan of how these curved lines are curved and this kind of flattens out. I may have to fix that. I may do something where it's like this. Hold on one second. Maybe I'm still talking to him. I'm sorry. I can come out there in just a little bit. I'm almost finished. Okay? So what I'm thinking is, can you shut my door, sweetheart? What I'm thinking is these lines will be concentric around the circle, and they also will follow the arc of that, kind of like that. And then from there, let me see what the original design looks like. It really doesn't do much more than that. So, and then let me get back to Photoshop. And then what I probably end up doing is just creating, and then if you can see, I've got this element here that I'll come back in and that'll go all the way down like that somehow. And this will connect like that. And I may break off a second piece and bring it like this. Now from here, I'm obviously going to have to do some design work to where this maybe creates a termination there, and then that maybe a little dot, and then this, I don't know, this will maybe create more of a design there, and then in this maybe in this area here I have to create some kind of like corner piece design. Like that. I don't know, I'm just kind of spitballing right now. I'll probably end up taking this a little further down there, like that. And then probably I'll do one more thing where this like comes out, creates another line, and just to help sell that little end circle, I wrap it around like this, like that. And then, I don't know if I'm gonna do that or not, we'll see. And then from there, let's see, I'm just gonna go ahead and merge this, and I'm gonna take this chunk here, I'm going to duplicate it, I'm going to reflect it, excuse me. Now I'm gonna have to do something in this space here. I might end up doing the same thing over here. Not sure what that is, but just to keep them similar, and then do a similar thing here where it's obviously gotta be smaller, but you get the idea. And then I'm not sure what I'll do in this area here. I don't know, so I'm going to figure that out. And then I really like that. I like that a lot. And then from here, if we notice, if we go back to Illustrator, this is going to go for 2 hours. That's ridiculous. I'm sorry, people. So if you notice here, I've got these stripes. You see the stripes here? And then on the original Tally Ho, I've got these kind of like claws or teeth. I could probably do something like that where I mimic that, or I can use these patterns, because each one of the Tally Hos and also each one of the bicycles have some type of pattern, diamond shaped pattern thing. And I could take that. What I might do is I might go back through and take this out, take this line out, so it gives me enough, maybe enough room. I'll probably need that as a holding line, but I could probably put that diamond pattern, you know, in this area here, like that. And then just to see, so to get an idea, what I might do is do concentric lines to that circle, but that mimic the original design, like this. Maybe, I don't know. Or I can try something else that's a little more traditional and do something like where we have like a holding line, and then kind of like a dart here, and then something like that. I don't know, we'll see. Something like that. And then just for the last thing, I will go back to this and I'm just going to take a snippet of that circle, copy, just so we can kind of get an idea of what it might look like. There. Yeah, I really like that. I like that a lot. I really like how that looks. Yep, that'll be the direction that we go. I really feel good about that. It's very interesting. It's dynamic. It's different than the Scarlet bicycle. It keeps a lot of the design motifs that the original Emerald Tally-Ho had. So yeah, so I'm gonna save this picture, this image, so I've got it for when I finish this out. Tuck concept. Yeah, so I think that's about it. I really like this. I really like this where this got. It was a long way to get there, but I really think this is gonna be really nice. So I just have to go back now, and I've already got the bicycle in there, right there. So I just now have to go back in and then just kind of redraw everything that I concepted. I'm not gonna do that tonight. I won't have to change the first because all the Tally-Ho decks were different. All the designs were different, and so the Scarlet will stay the same because I feel good about that. And the Scarlet design was very straight lines, right angles. So the design that I did for that goes well with that, and I think that this is a good follow-up because the Emerald designs are very curvy and elegant, and so I think it's a good thing. And then the Pearl is kind of the same thing. they're also curvy, and the diamonds are very. It kind of goes the extreme where it's not just right angles; it's straight lines, but they're very angular and off. Let me see here. All right, Parker's asking me to answer some of the unanswered questions. Let me make sure, because there's a lot of stuff over here, but I will try to. You may have to retype some of the questions so that I can see which ones you want me to ask. Question 1. Speaking of the Black Diamond Tally-Ho deck, will the gilded version be black gilded? So first off, the Black Diamond Bicycle deck will most likely not be Metal Lux like the original Black Diamond Tally-Ho, only because it's just way too expensive. It's way too expensive to do that for the price of the subscriptions. It's just not really feasible production. Now I have had an idea of doing some kind of crowdfunded thing within the subscription to pay for the Metal Lux, but that's a long way away. But going back to your question, the gilded version of the Black Diamond will most likely be black gilded. We had success with the black gilding. Let me change this over here like this. We had success with the black gilding on the black reserve notes as opposed to the green gilded, so I don't see why we couldn't do that. Question 2. What was your reasoning for doing limited shorts, limited bicycle, but only standard and gilded tables? Honestly, The the analytical answer would be, or that's not the word for it. The original thought behind the table players was that they were more standard style decks. Um, I really think that the only reason why I didn't do a limited edition table players was just, I mean, it's already very confusing, the whole subscription stuff, because there's so many different ones. I think a lot of it was just me like, oh, I got a standard limited gilded, standard limited gilded. I think a lot of it was just me wanting to keep it simple. And I also wanted and I also knew just from a kind of a standpoint of the way that I created the table players was I knew that the table players wasn't going to be like a limited number of slots like the shorts were or the bicycles. And so I think it kind of defeated the purpose of having like an exclusive subscription slot for the table players if there was not going to be, you know, the specific numbers, that the edition numbers, and so that's kind of what there wasn't a limited edition, because I wasn't going to number them. But I do number the gilded ones, but that was kind of the reasoning behind it. Question 3, are you using a mouse for everything or do you use a tablet? The answer to that question is I use a mouse for Illustrator, and then I use a Cintiq tablet monitor for my Photoshop. So when you saw me drawing in Photoshop, you probably noticed that I got a lot closer, and that's because I was up and drawing on the screen. And I would pull my camera around and show you, but it'll make everybody seasick. Let me see. There's what other questions, Parker? The gilding of the 6'5", it's being gilded as we speak. So that's how that's going. I'll just wait for a little bit for the lag to catch up and see if Parker has any other questions that we might be missing. I love doing this. I love designing playing cards. This is a blast for me. It's not work. I have fun doing this. I could keep doing this for 3 more hours and be perfectly happy. Okay, the community answered most of them. I want to thank Parker for doing such an awesome job at what he does and helping me out with all this stuff. It's really nice to have him along for the ride. And all the hotness that's been on the Instagram and all the new photos and all the content that's being generated, you can thank Parker for that. So very appreciative of that. Let's see, I'm trying to think of anything else. That's really about it. I hope you guys have a good night. I really appreciate you coming. It's literally exactly 2 hours. It's 11 o'clock now, on my time at least. Sorry it went long, but I just was kind of in the zone, I guess, tonight, and I was feeling good, and I didn't want to stop. So, and this is work time for me, so I didn't really want to stop and keep it. But I think it's good for you guys to see me kind of struggle with things and having to figure audibles out and figure different designs and trashing stuff and starting over. So I think that's a good process to see. So, yeah, that's it. We'll be back next Sunday. I'm not sure what we're gonna do just yet, but we'll be back next Sunday at 9 o'clock ish Eastern time for next week's YouTube Live. And if you want to go back and watch this one, or if you maybe missed it, this will be up on my YouTube channel. So if you aren't already a subscriber to my YouTube channel, I would just kindly ask you that you hit the like button and you subscribe and you hit the notification bell. So, because we're trying to create more content, more meaningful content for the YouTube channel. So it would help if you guys did that. Subscribe for me. That's it. You guys have a wonderful night. I'll see you guys next Sunday.